Often enough, I get asked, what are my favorite anime movies? And so I wanted to share 15 movies that are near and dear to my heart, and also why they appeal to me. So that way you kind of get a sense of what the movie's about. So, you can choose to check it out or not, right? Now, any anime diehard fan out there, you will most likely recognize all of these. You've probably seen them. So this is not like a definitive list of like, these are the best anime movies to absolutely watch. No, these are just ones that I enjoy and would recommend. So if anything, this is more kind of for people that maybe haven't seen an anime, or perhaps they haven't but would like to, and they want to dabble in a little bit more, right? So I want to offer that up, but if you love anime, this might just be a nice kind of nostalgic walk down memory lane. And also, to that effect, I would encourage you to comment with your favorite animes as well. And in case I haven't denoted this is specifically for movies, not TV shows, okay? So first and foremost, any of the Studio Ghibli movies are absolutely fantastic, right? I could literally list all of them and that be it. But let me just highlight 3 that stand out to me, right? So Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, and Castle in the Sky. So Princess Mononoke is just a tremendous one about this stranger who goes into a dying land and essentially has to figure out how to keep the peace between essentially the forest and its creatures, as well as humans that are trying to quite literally kill off the forest. So it's a very tense, very deep movie that I absolutely adore, right? It's very well respected. It is PG-13, but it's like a hard PG-13. I remember rewatching it very recently, and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, no, this is, some of the stuff is like gruesome. So just kind of be warned about that, but absolutely beautiful, beautiful movie in every sense of the word. Spirited Away. This is much more kid-friendly, family-friendly, and won, an Oscar. So this is about Chihiro, who is this young girl. She's moving from a town to a new town, and on the way home, they stop off at this kind of bathhouse. And her parents are turned into animals, and then she essentially has to figure out a way to save them. And in order to do that, she has to essentially participate with these spirits that work at this bathhouse. Like it's very inventive, it's very crazy, but just has so much heart that it's absolutely phenomenal, and you'll understand why it won an Oscar, right? A lesser one, Castle in the Sky. This one's one of his earlier works, and I love it because as the name implies, there's this castle in the sky that's this like legend, and many people are trying to get to it for nefarious reasons. But then, of course, our protagonist, this girl, she kind of holds the key to it all, and so people are starting to go after her, and it's just very beautifully done, very beautifully executed, and it's got great like flying machines, great action set pieces, as well as a lot of the heart that has come to dominate Studio Ghibli movies. So I would recommend that gem of a movie for sure. Then we get to more modern anime that I want to recommend from Makoto Shinkai. So, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but he's done movies such as Your Name, Suzume more recently, and then one of my favorites of his, Children Who Chase Lost Voices. So Your Name is this movie that kind of really put him on the map. It's essentially a body swap movie where this girl from a small town in Japan ends up swapping bodies with this guy in Tokyo. And they start kind of, now it's not forever, they kind of swap, then swap back, swap, then swap back, and they start to figure this out, so they leave notes for each other about like, to make sure they don't ruin each other's lives by doing this. It's not like they control it. And then, so that's kind of the jumping off point, but where it goes is truly magnificent, very deep, kind of with great sci-fi elements. So really, really, really well done, and understandably put like him on a global map. Suzume is the more recent one, and that one is fun. At its core, it's about a girl named Suzume, and she begins to see these giant worms that come out of the earth, and if they fall, they will cause earthquakes, right? So it's up to her and this other person to essentially prevent this. And they do so by locking these doors around Japan. And, you know, it's kind of like a wonderful coming-of-age story. It's a travel log in many ways. It's a big, epic, sweeping fantasy. Like, it's all these things rolled into one, and it just works. And, you know, I showed this to various people in the theater. Like, I saw it once, and I absolutely loved it. And I brought other people to go see it, and they all cried. So it's absolutely phenomenal. Children Who Chase Lost Voices. This is, again, my favorite of his. It's one of his, excuse me, one of his earlier works where there's this younger girl and she lost a father, and she essentially is trying to hear him or hears things that remind her of him, and she ends up in the land of the dead, where she's not supposed to be, but there's this thing that other people are trying to get to, so they're trying to now use her to get to it. So it's really wild and fantastic in a lot of ways, and yeah, just I can't say enough good stuff about it, and just so inventive in terms of its lore, and where it goes is absolutely emotionally gripping, devastating, all that good stuff. Then we get to Satoshi Kon, who sadly passed away very young, but he's got a legacy of amazing work. Two that I want to highlight. My favorite of his, Paprika. This is about this dream machine that has been stolen, and this group of scientists are essentially trying to recover it. So, you know, a lot of people have said, like, Inception is kind of based on this movie. And to a degree, like, you know, there's certain shots and things like that. Like, you could see Inception being inspired and stuff like that. Inception's a wonderful, wonderful movie, and it's not exactly like this. Like, if you took Inception, if you liked Inception, and gave it crack, this is Paprika. All bottled up in a 90-minute movie. Like, nothing can prepare you for what Paprika is. There's a quote in terms of the advertisement. I'm going to butcher it just slightly, but paraphrasing, it's this notion while American animation is playing in, like, okay, sorry, let me reverse that. While Japanese animation is reaching for the moon, U.S. animation is stuck in the kiddie sandbox. And you can absolutely tell why someone would give that quote based on seeing this movie. Like, what they do here is just jaw-dropping insanity in every sense of the word, and I love it. Perfect Blue. So, if you've seen Black Swan, a lot of people attribute Black Swan having been an inspiration, Perfect Blue having been an inspiration for Black Swan, and you could see that. It was made kind of at the turn of the century, and, you know, with paparazzis and this obsession with celebrity, and what does that mean? So Perfect Blue is a very dark, edgy movie about what it means to be stock, what it means to be famous, and all that stuff. So it's kind of like a film noir-ish type of movie. Very, very well done, but also dark. Akira, this is a classic. Like, I think any Westerner that got into anime very early on would know Akira. It's just a wild movie. It was made in 1980, and the way it was done is just beautiful. And it's about these, like, motorcycle gangs in New Tokyo, because an atomic bomb went off and stuff like that. And this is, like, I believe 30 years after, and kind of, you know, society where it's at. So it's a wild, wild movie. Not quite as like wild as like Paprika, but definitely a very interesting one. The next movie I recommend for you, Ninja Scroll. So anyone who loves, let's say, Mortal Kombat, this one is for you. This one is like a hard R type of movie. It's about this like ninja who has to help and kill off these various, essentially demons, if you will, just people, like spirits, not of this earth, right? Not humans. And that's, in many ways, it's a very simplistic kind of Western story. And when I say Western, yes, both in terms of geographically, but like, the Old West, right? Except with ninjas. So I saw this in the theater. It was my first time seeing it, and I was just like floored at how it was. The story's simplistic, so it's not like I would go in for it like trying to get the most intricate story. In that sense, like it is quite literally almost like Mortal Kombat, where you just fight, but the way it's executed is just brilliant. The next one is a movie called Patama Inverted. So this is a movie about essentially these two worlds where if you cross over into the other world, you think everything is inverted, but if that person crosses into your side of the world, like and they do this via a tunnel, you start to feel that they're inverted. And it's like, it's two worlds that can't be together, right? And stuff like that. But of course, this young girl and this young man, they kind of start to bridge the gap. And what does that mean? So it's just an amazing movie, and it's kind of disorienting, right? Because anytime one goes to the next, and you're kind of like, okay, wait, who is right side up? Who is right? It is really inverted in that way. But the story's so well done and it's so much fun. Next one, Nasu, Summer in Andalusia. So this is technically a feature film, although it depends on your definition. It's ultimately kind of a shorter movie for sure. And it's just about this biker biking, right? And so in that sense, it's a fun one that I know a lot of people who enjoy biking, so it's just a fun, easy entry point into anime, especially if they want to see like a biking thing, right? Next up is this movie called Belle. So this is a more recent movie that it's basically Beauty and the Beast, but with social media and going inside as like a digital avatar and stuff like that. And so it's got a lot of social commentary utilizing the myth of Beauty and the Beast in a more modern way. So this one's called Belle. Absolutely phenomenal. Next one up, Mind Game. This is the craziest movie I've ever seen. I don't even know how to describe it. It is not for the faint of heart. It's not like, it's both gruesome, but also like, what the hell am I watching? And I appreciate it for its boldness and where it goes. You will never be able to predict this movie. If you can predict this movie, kudos to you, because I certainly could not. But as the name implies, it is a mind game, and in fact, I would call it a mind fuck. So if you're interested in that type of movie, check it out. I won't say it's like experimental, but it's definitely not your average storytelling for sure. For more conventional storytelling, my last recommendation is The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. And this is a fun one. As the name implies, this is a girl who figures out that she can leap through time. And, what does she do with this? What are the ramifications and things like that? And, as much as it's a time jump movie, it stays very grounded and about her life. She's very young, right? As the title implies, a girl, not a woman. And so, she's still in school, and what does that mean? And how does she approach this ability, both as a positive and a negative? And I just really, really enjoyed it. So those are my 15 recommendations for anime movies that have left a lasting impression on me that I want to share with you as an entry point into anime. But Comment down below. Let me know what animes you've loved. Which ones have resonated with you. I would love to know. And especially if it's ones that I haven't listed here. I'm always looking for new anime to check out. So would love to keep that conversation going. So comment down below. And also as a bonus on my Patreon page, I'm going to kind of do a poll, if you will, where people can pick an anime and we can do a watch along together, or if you can't make the time that we figure out, then, you can watch it after the fact. But I figured that would be fun as well, So my Patreon is generally more serious of diving deeper into lessons and takeaways, but I figured why not have a fun sort of bonus thing as well. So that's available to you as well if you want to check that out. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I truly do appreciate it. I'll see you next time.